What's up, everybody? Dan Tortora here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. This is Wake Up Call, and we are here for a special with Ric Etienne. That is right, Ric, and it's Etienne, not Etienne, but
Yeah.
it's spelled the exact same way. So I'm gonna say that he's a distant cousin of my guy, Travis Etienne Jr. But Ric here with us today, and Ric has done shows with us before. We go definitely into the world of what Wake Up Call is, which is where sports meets life. We've had some very deep conversation. We've spoken about prejudice and racism in the country. We've spoken about
Mhm.
sports. We've spoken about family and life, love, and everything. So today is kind of an open door, like it's always been inside the Cafe Kubal studios. And we appreciate you being here, Ric. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here. It's been a while. I know we've kind of missed each other a couple of times on some opportunities for me to get back on. So definitely happy to be back, man. So appreciate the invite as always.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have you here. YouTube.com/backslash wake up call DT, Facebook.com/backslash wake up call DT, and Facebook.com/backslash live now DT inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, an abridged version of today's wake up call because there is a family funeral that we have for my great uncle Pat, a phenomenal person. And then I will be at ACC kickoff covering all 14 ACC football institutions. Can't believe that I had to take a year off, but I'm back in Charlotte this week. And, Ric, what's it like to you? I mean, you're down in Florida, so ain't no COVID, but I
Yeah,
mean,
nah.
in the rest of the country, we've been, all types of turn up, turn down, shut off, turn on. So
Yeah.
what's life like, man?
I mean, it's like you said, man. We act as if COVID doesn't exist down here. Nah. Let me stop. It's been okay. I think the past couple of months, as things have really started to kind of get a little relaxed throughout the country,
Yeah.
we've seen similar here too. I mean, all the jokes and memes that you see about Florida, yeah, some of that is kind of true to a certain extent, but it's also exaggerated as well. Definitely more folks than you would expect, kind of taking precautions throughout those times. And even still now, as things kind of start to spike a little bit, we got the whole Delta variant thing going on. We're seeing more folks pop the masks back on, so, shout out to those who are vaccinated. If you haven't yet, look, I'm not here to tell people to get vaccinated or not, but, it's everybody's own right to do what they want to do or
Yeah.
not. So I feel a little more confident these days knowing that I'm somewhat okay. So you know what I mean. I try not to dwell on it too much, man. More than anything, it's just good to kind of live life again, a little
Yeah.
more openly, which is great. So I'm enjoying that for sure.
Well, I told a lady when she injected my arm with the Johnson and Johnson one shot, I said, "Listen, you better hope if there's any side effects or anything going on that I get superpowers. Like you better hope that's the
At the
only
very
thing that
least,
happens to me."
yeah. At the very least, right?
Yeah, I was like, I said, if this is gonna, I don't know, like ignite my mutant gene, like Deadpool or something like that,
Yeah.
like all I want to know, I was like, there better not be no chips in me, no nothing. I was like, if you do this to me, I better still be able to have kids. All I want is a really cool superpower. That's what I
Yeah.
told her. So
See, my two things was either superpowers or let me get some 6G, like I always got great reception, Wi-Fi never goes out. Like that's it, the simple things,
I'm gonna be real with you. My 2G is way better than my 5G. So I think this 5G thing is a joke. But
Yeah.
so, when we are trying to make this stuff work, and we're using our 5G, 4G, whatever G, we're trying to listen to some music, and unfortunately, there's some sad things happening in the music world this year already. And DMX, and I mean, I just remember growing up hearing the man bark,
Yeah.
and between DMX and Biz Markie, as you and I have talked about stuff before, I was spoiled as a kid. I grew up on Notorious B.I.G., Mace, The Locks, Puff Daddy,
Mm.
Queen Bee, Lil Kim. Who else am I? Foxy Brown,
Yeah.
New Edition, Boys to Men, Nat King Cole, Natalie Cole, Prince, Michael Jackson. Like I was spoiled in my music world.
Yeah. We
So
had it good. We had it good, man.
so what are your thoughts on the Biz and DMX? Obviously, a little bit before passing.
Yeah, it sucks. Like you mentioned, like you just kind of ran through the gauntlet there. It's like, we had all these icons growing up, and as we get older, obviously everybody else gets older too, and it sucks when we sit here and have to, every couple of weeks or every couple of months have to hear here's another one of our beloved legends,
Yeah.
leaving us, unfortunately, So it sucks. Even, we go back to DMX, my wife's all-time favorite. You know what I mean? Like that is my wife's number one all-time favorite. So, it killed her, like crushed her when he passed. And he actually officially passed on her birthday too, which
Oh
is
my
kind of
Lord.
crazy. So definitely sucks for sure. She actually had a chance to meet him down here in Orlando. Oddly enough, I don't know if you remember that clip that went viral with him and his daughter on the slingshot at Fun Spot, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken. So that same day that they did all of that, they happened to be at Fridays next to Universal, and my wife was out celebrating a friend's birthday, and sees like her guy, like her favorite rapper of all time hanging out there. So she was too shy to ask for a picture for herself, so she asked him to take a picture with Caleb. So we got this cool picture with Caleb and DMX at Fridays at Universal. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's unfortunate. And again, you got Biz now. Just the other day, it sucks, man. It really sucks. It hits home because it reminds us that we're kind of getting old now, because
Yeah.
these are the people that we grew up listening to, being influenced by and whatnot. And unfortunately, we got to say goodbye. So it sucks. But the music lives on. That's the best part.
Yeah.
The legacy will be forever. And even though we don't have them in the physical sense, their genius will always be here, which is great.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is when you create a legacy, you leave something behind after your soul returns to heaven. Whatever you put here, you left an imprint. And
Yeah.
so many of them have. And I just, I went back and I put it up within the last couple of days, Biz Marquee when he was with Will Smith, and I just love the part where it was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Biz Mar," and he's like, "Yes, Yolan."
Hmm.
Like just the way, just the way that there's the way that people come in. Like I tell people all the time, if you don't know "Hit 'Em High" by Space Jam, like
Mm.
you don't know collabs. Like you got Method Man, Redman, LL Cool J,
Yeah.
Coolio, Busta Rhymes.
Buster
Like
Rhymes. Woo, he
you
killed
know what I
that.
mean? Like
Buster killed that.
and Busta kills everything because when Busta ran into a wall and a word didn't rhyme, he's like, I'm just gonna make up a word. And nobody, when somebody's rap battling in some dungeon somewhere and they create a word, people are like, man, that's not real. Get out of here. But when
Mm.
Busta did it, everybody's like, man, smoogling is a word. Let's
It
use
becomes a
smoogling.
word. Exactly. It becomes a word.
Busta's the only guy that can get away with being his own Webster's dictionary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd say Missy got a little bit of that too. I think she kind of fell into that too. And she's like, I'm just gonna start making stuff up, or I'll just rap backwards.
yeah. Yeah, well, I'm the schmang man,
Yeah.
like I'm just I be sitting there like, what is she telling me to like go eat at Pizza Hut right now? Like, what type of government stuff is going on in this call? But it's crazy. But I mean, yeah, I mean, back in the day, and still, I mean, I go back to when Timberland wasn't famous, and he's like, you got Timberland, and then you'd hear this other voice go, and Magoo, like
Hmm.
I just
Oh man, right? Timberland and Magoo, that's classic stuff right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
They
then the
had the
way they
other
would
dude
dance,
too.
when it's Timberland and Magoo, like I just it's the way they did it. I mean, it's Mace's move as smooth as Bugsy when he used to
Yeah.
do the shoulders.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah. And the
there's
beats too. I feel like, and that's the other thing. Growing up is when like we really started getting, like we started focusing on producers more. So where the beats started changing and becoming like sounding next level, out of this world, intergalactic. Like, yo, what is this guy doing? Like, you mentioned Tim, you talk about Pharrell and the Neptunes, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, music is just, man, it's something else, man. The things that it does to your soul is just
yeah.
amazing.
Well, the thing is when you say like a group or you say like a singer or whatever, I get things in my head. Like
Hmm.
when you said Pharrell and Neptunes, I was so like I hear beats and I hear lyrics in my head. You
Hmm.
know, this is the Neptunes. What does they play? Call it the Rec Room playtime now. Holla. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like push to be the one you follow. Like it's just
Oh,
it's there's
man.
some slow mo, low mo. You know what I mean? There's something to like as soon as somebody says something, there's like an encyclopedia to those of us that
Hmm.
appreciate the music. Like I mean, people made fun of him back in the day for it, but then he put it in a song when Diddy said, take hits from the 80s, but does it sound so
Yeah,
crazy?
yeah, make it sound so crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like when me, it's personal. Oh, no, when it's me, it's what does he say? When in me, it's personal, it's nothing personal. Oh, no, when it's me, it's impersonal, it's nothing personal. Like there's
I
just
do what
certain,
works for me. You do what works for yeah.
yeah. And I dress with what I was blessed with, never been arrested for nothing domestic. Like, I mean, there's so many. And I remember rapping in the back seat when I was a little kid in elementary school, and I was like triple beam lyrical dream, and my dad's like, that's how they measure drugs, Daniel. Like, you know what I mean? And I just and I can't rap a Biggie song without doing Biggie's voice and trying to get it in my throat and nasal up my nose, and you know, where it's like triple beam lyrical dream, I'll be that. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get it. And then Rick Ross, with all due respect to Rick Ross,
man.
he is trying to be Biggie, because if you listen to him and you hear the that's what Biggie did all the time.
See, but you know what, man? Look, I'll give Ross a little credit just because, hey, look, big guys, you know, big guys breathe different.
What I'm saying,
I mean?
like he's a little asthmatic, he's a little sleep apnea. You know what I mean? Like he's just trying to breathe through the song. But
yeah, you mentioned Ross, though, man. I've had this conversation with folks not too long ago. It's like I think Ross, his entire legacy, his entire footprint on the game, he's severely underappreciated and underrated. I wasn't a huge Rick Ross fan early on, but as he's continued through his progression in his career, man, like Ross is a beast, man. Ross is like one of those all-time guys, in my opinion, man. Like he's bad, yo.
who upsets me, and I just talked about this, that it like legit, it was like the most inappropriate time for me to bring this up, but I felt the need to. Like it was like a time where you don't talk about music, and I'm looking at these people in my family, and I was like, you want to know what really bothers me? Ludacris doesn't rap anymore. Like it's like
yo.
It makes me so mad that it's like the Fast and the Furious 9, and he's running around like, let me get the truck. You know what I mean? But I'm like, where is Luda that used to rap? There was so Rudy was like known for having these like CD mixtapes where like he must have met Luda in the Bronx and like was at a party at 3 a.m. and only 3 people recorded this and only 3 people have a CD, and Rudy was one of them. And there's like this 15-minute just Luda, just bars on bars. And we're driving through the loop, and out of nowhere, Luda's like, he's rapping, and I'm going, okay, and I'm not really paying attention. And then he's like going, and then he's like Cheerios, and then he goes Crispy Puffs, and then he brings in Fruity Pebbles. And I was like, I'm in the car like this. Like, I was like, this man just rap about not 1, not 2, but 3 cereals. Like, and Rudy had that mixtape that Ludacris gave him as like a birthday gift, and then it disappeared. Like, I still don't know. And the thing is like, it was on one of Rudy's CDs where like there were 50 tracks, but you can only get 12 tracks on a CD, but Rudy could always burn 100.
Yeah.
And there was 50 on there, and he hits 50, and he had to fast forward through everything because there was like one long stream of one song.
Yeah.
And so I hear this Luda thing, and he raps about cereal, and nobody has any reason to believe me because only Evan, Rudy, and I heard it in the car.
The only time it's ever been heard, man.
Yeah. Like 2010, and he's Cheerios, Crispy Puffs. I'm like, what? You know, and like, and then it's gone. And it's like, it's almost like Rudy was sent a message like 007, and then it exploded inside of the car, and then it was gone. So
that's the funny thing you mentioned about Luda, you know, as far as not rapping anymore and being an actor now and whatnot is, I remember watching the Verses with him and Nelly, and I'm sitting there and I'm going through, and every time Luda plays a track, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot this song. Oh my God, I forgot this song. Oh my God. So then halfway through, I'm sitting there thinking like, yo, Luda was really a beast, yo. He was really a beast, man.
And he was funny. I mean, when you're in traffic, move, get out the way. When somebody doesn't pay me on time, I play Rihanna's Better Have My Money.
Better have my money.
So that's what I said to Evan. I was like, man, if I drive by and I'm playing Better Have My Money, you know where I'm going. You know what I'm doing.
Give me my bread.
But Luda, like that's the thing is everybody's like Drake, Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, man, before all that, there was like Biggie and Tupac and all these people, and then Run DMC and DMX and all this, and then there was like this middle region, which just had some of these guys in there, had Luda in there, you know, he was in that little window. And by the way, to all the people that love T-Pain, Teddy Riley was literally like musically crucified for using auto-tune, and everybody loves that T-Pain uses it. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
Teddy Riley, they're like, you can't fake your voice. This is cheating. And so when T-Pain's on the auto-tune, I'm like, man, Teddy Riley made that. No Diggity. And by the way, I introduced somebody to that song for the first time ever, and I introduced it to them by rapping it to them when we were like out on a park, like a bike ride. And I played the song. I was like, have you ever heard this? And they were like, no. I was like, for real? And so I was the person that introduced them to No Diggity, which I will have on my tombstone as one of my greatest achievements.
Now you see, it's funny you bring up Teddy Riley going back, and now, like you said, you say your name and then something pops up. I think Blackstreet, like, yo, I mean, that was you talking about the auto tune and the but whether it's the power ballads, the club anthems, you know, like everything. That's something I miss too. Like, you know, like that real R&B, your R&B groups, even solo acts too, but like that real R&B music, man, damn good stuff. And I feel like we kind of got away from that a little bit, but we seem to be shifting a little towards it now. You know, we're getting a lot of the ladies too these days are killing the R&B game. So I miss some good classic R&B.
Well, and this is what I'm going to say to the people out there. Like, if you don't have R&B from like the 80s and the 90s on a track, then you have never genuinely romanced a woman.
I was just about to say, baby making music, bro. Baby making music right there.
You put on anything from Boys to Men too. From that second album.
Oh yeah.
I'll Make Love to You, On Bended Knee.
No skips. Yeah. No skips, yo.
No
like, skips on that.
Man, I'm talking about even like, you know, the song was at 50 Candles. Like they got the Candle song, they got Trying Times, they got Thank You, they got All Around the World. Like you put that on, you put on some Babyface, you put on some Brian McKnight. Like I'm gonna be real, people. If you don't have that in your wheelhouse, you think you're a romantic, but you ain't nothing. Like
nah. Like that's like, again, that's classic baby making music, right?
I mean, yeah, like when the wife says, "Hey, I want to try for a baby," I'm like, man, I got 15 tracks. Let's go. So, like,
and then you got like all the one-hit wonders. You know what I mean? You got like the Color Me Bads of the world with the I wanna sex you up. Ooh, that's what, once you hear that, ooh, 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 you know it's going down.
And you got Soul for Real, Candy Rain, like, you know. And I just remember hearing that dun, 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 and you would see and he would just spin in the rain. Yep. The first time I ever heard that song was on All That on Nickelodeon, and I remember, I think I was sick that night, and I remember watching it and going like, I love this song. But I mean, all this stuff, I mean, it's like, how can you go through life? Like when I tell people what I listen to, I tell people all the time, I'm like, when I describe to you my music collection with LL Cool J and Babyface and all these other people in there, you genuinely probably think I grew up in like South Central Philly, like Motown, like that, like where my bread is buttered in this music world is like that like the depth of the R&B, real hip hop, like not gangster rap, not like I'm gonna kill your mother and all these horrible things, just like real solid music, funny music, like Bad Boy Records. And you know, I mean, it's just like, I mean, if people don't know how to throw their rollies in the sky and wave them side to side, like you don't know music. You got no idea what and like nowadays, like listen, I like Drake. Wayne is listen, he is nasty. Like he is disgusting. He's funny, but he's nasty. And you can't play Wayne for somebody that you love and respect. You know, like Kendrick Lamar, he's just like so fast and he's good and whatever. I always say Kendrick Lamar is like, he sounds to me like Kanye, but Kanye's music was here. Then he married a Kardashian and it went way under the equator line. And when I saw they were getting divorced, I had one sentence to the world. I said, thank God Kanye's music's going to be good again.
So now it's funny you say that. I don't know if you've been seeing the rumors. The album's ready. Donda is ready. Like they had a listening party over the weekend, this past weekend. Everybody's going crazy over it. Even KD heard it. KD's been tweeting like crazy. I think he's doing a listening event in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, at the Falcon Stadium on Thursday. Uh, excuse me. So yeah, the album's coming, and apparently we getting back pre Kim Kanye. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, man, bring it, man.
like to me, and that's the thing. Like Kanye, just so many different things, but I mean, there's certain songs that just hit me, and one of the songs that I love so much with Jamie Foxx is Gold Digger.
Oh man, that's a great track. That's a great
I
track.
love it. It's funny. It's good. But there's another Gold Digger song that was in the movie Shark Tale, which was DreamWorks' response to Finding Nemo. And that track has Will Smith on, or I'm sorry, that has Luda on it.
Mhm.
So, and that's a totally different Gold Digger track. But there's, I don't know, like when it comes to, man, music just does something to me.
Yeah.
And I honestly think, like, if every time we were mad, sad, depressed, needed to make a decision, didn't know what
Mhm.
to do, like anytime you just can't handle life, if the whole world turned on music, I just feel like we would all just like float up somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I just
Yeah.
feel like music just, it changes the game. And I've been writing I've been writing during my life. I've written like 40 songs. I've sang since I was 3. I've rapped. I have put myself in this world of just like producing music. It's something I always wanted to do. And I said, even if I go on stage one time in my life, like I just want to do it, and I want to create something. I want to give somebody something to let them hear my voice, let them hear my pain, let them hear my happiness, my strife,
Yeah.
my real, my faith, like who I'm at, who I am, what I'm about. But like music, it really does soothe my soul. Like
Yeah.
it changes the way I look at life. And I got to play this really quick. So my grandmother was a big fan of this song, and she used to say this to me all the time. And so I'm going to play it right now. So let me go back to it. So this is from Doris Day, but this is my grandmother's thing. And I have a sign that's next to my bed for this song. I love you. Hold on, let me get it up here. I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck, a hug around the neck, and a barrel and a heap, a barrel and a heap, and I'm talking in my sleep. So let me just say to YouTube and Facebook, I don't own the rights to this song. And if you somehow silence this part of the video that I played for my grandmother, you're horrible people.
Terrible,
So
terrible people.
horrible, terrible, no good people. You guys, like when I put up
Shout out.
Chappelle because he quoted Syracuse, New York, and a year later they're like, you don't own the rights to this. And they sent me this long thing I said, I didn't make money off of this. I didn't say I owned it. I said, look at this guy talking about my hometown. So, but my grandmother loved that song. And I play that going off of the notion of music changes lives, man. Music can heal souls. Music can just change when you're trying to tell somebody how you feel about them, man. You just hit them tracks, and it just changes. It gets people to like know who you are and what you're about and how you feel. And there's just nothing that can supplant or replace music.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, shout out to grandma because I already know how much grandma means to you. I know the bond and the relationship y'all had and whatnot. So shout out to grandma. But I totally agree. You know, even as you know, I DJ and whatnot. So the whole motivation for me in getting into DJing, it's like it's to be able to share music. Like I enjoy being able to play something that somebody's gonna be in the crowd and be like, oh my God, what song is that? I've never heard that before, and it resonates with me, and I need to know what song that is. You know what I mean? Like for me, I think Shazam is the greatest invention ever because how many times you could be anywhere at any random place and you hear something and you're just like, oh my God, what is that? It's like, whoop, there you go. Now that's added to the playlist, So that's what I look at. Like I feel like anytime I'm DJing an event or whatnot, it's like, you know what, man, there's 10 to 15 songs that are playing on a loop on every single radio station across the world. I'm not playing those 10 to 15 songs. I'm trying to teach you something new. I'm trying to give you something new so you can go home and be like, I need to find this particular artist that I just heard DJ Ric Etienne play, or this song that he played, I need that, And then like when I'm combining my mixes, one of the things I've always been a huge fan of movie making and whatnot. So I always have a mindset of if I'm making a mix, I'm trying to tell a story. So I'm very particular as to what songs I put together and how they flow so that from the start of the mix to the end of the mix, you're getting like a nice little story from song to song where you can feel certain emotions at certain times, up, down, happy, sad, whatever the case may be. So, for me, music is the most essential of all the arts. Like you said, like it is the absolute most essential art that we have. And, it's just perfect all the time, no matter what. You know what I mean? So shout out to music and musicians and anybody who's putting out the arts, man. Like, thank you. Cause without it, man, listen.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing. And like, to hear it and, one of the things that's spoken about in music all the time and in every genre of music really is love.
Mhm.
And what I've learned about love in life, to kind of shift to that for a second, is, you know, when people don't know that love goes up and down, they don't know love. When people don't know that love has ebb and flow, it has give and take, it has
Mhm.
sacrifice. I had somebody say to me, how do I know that this is love? Because every decision I make in my life, I have to be at peace. And they said, well, when you're telling me I'm feeling love, I'm not at peace. And I was like, love isn't going to make you at peace. Love does that.
Yeah.
Like they were like, why is my heart like jump and it hurts and it makes me uncomfortable and afraid? I was like, that's love. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't want to be afraid to lose something. I'm like, that's love.
But
Well,
that's yeah.
like, I, you know, I sometimes I want it. Sometimes I get annoyed by you. That's love. Like, I mean, it's like, I, I don't know, man. Like, how would you describe love to somebody who's never had it?
I mean, that you kind of just nailed it. I think if it's not driving you crazy, if it's not confusing the hell out of you, if it's not making you want to pull your hair out, it's probably not love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you mentioned heartbreak, and it's like for me, I think the very first time I ever like understood what the term heartbreak was,
Yeah.
it was like mind blowing because you never feel it, and then all of a sudden here's this pain and you're just like what like is it really broken?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, is it really,
Yeah.
so it's one of those things where exactly what you mentioned, like it's supposed to be imperfect, it's supposed to drive you crazy, it's supposed to make you think like crazy, it's supposed to confuse the crap out of you, you'll never understand it even when you're fortunate enough to find it and secure it and marry it and have it. I'm 15 years in and I'm still not quite sure what to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like love is just one of those things that just can't be tamed, and you appreciate it when you have it. And more than anything, I tell people all the time, it's like it's there is no definition, there is no blueprint. You
Yeah.
will know. You're gonna get to a point where you feel something you have never in your life felt before, and you're just gonna be like, whoa, what's happening to me? You're falling in love. That's what's happening. you
Yeah.
know?
And my thing is, I've seen people run from that incredible feeling.
hmm
Like,
It's scary. It's
like
scary as hell.
I've seen people literally say, "Oh no, I don't like this. This makes me really uncomfortable. This is way too fast. This is way too. I just can't."
hmm
People that say to me like, "I think with my head. I don't think with my heart." Your heart will deceive you. Your feelings will change. They can't be trusted. And I guess the only thing I know in life is that true love, actual true love, is the only thing that persists. So if you are one of those people that runs from the feeling,
hmm
runs from it, runs away from a person that loves you dearly, all I can tell you is if that's genuine true love, eventually you're going to run back.
Yeah. And even to add on to that, I think the reason that happens more than anything, it's a case of not being able to be vulnerable. That's a big part of it too. Like in order for you to, excuse me, in order for you to accept love, you have to be able to, it's a give and take, it's a trade-off, so it's like if you're going to bring love in, you're giving out vulnerability, and a lot of people are not comfortable being vulnerable with anybody, whether it be family members, platonic, it be anybody they have a platonic relationship with or a romantic relationship with. You know, being vulnerable isn't easy for everybody. And in order to truly be able to accept love, you've got to give back vulnerability. That's where people get scared. That's where people take off running, you know. But to your point, you can only run for so long before that little hurt, you know, that heartbreak is like, I can't be away from that person. I
Yeah.
can't turn away from this person. I have to go back. And the only way you can go back is to offer up that vulnerability.
Love will always find you.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
that's just how it is. And I had some, and you know, and I had that where like, you know, you hear somebody describe and go, wow, you just said something that hurt my heart. Man, it hurt my heart, but it hurt in a good way,
Hmm.
you know? And so, but no, to your point, I agree wholeheartedly.
And that's why music plays such a big role in it, because again, any type of suppressed feelings, feelings that you could put and tuck away and
Yeah.
hide and say, I don't care about this anymore and I don't care about that anymore, that doesn't bother me, that doesn't affect me. All it takes is for the right song to play and for the right lyric to play, and boop, that little chest pops open, and that little feeling that you thought didn't mean anything to you,
Yeah.
there it is again, you know.
Well, and that's the thing is like you can say the words. You can say, I don't love you. I don't care. I didn't mean anything I said. I treat everybody this way. It's all the
Hmm.
same. Like none of this was real. You read into it. You can say all the words, but when this thing hurts, there's only one remedy.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm a firm believer that you can't outrun love,
Yeah, that's
you know?
facts. Yeah.
So we're getting deep today on the
Yeah,
show.
man. I like it though.
We're
I
getting
like it.
so we're getting so deep on the show today. So I want to go back to music really quick before we hop into football and you know get to where we're getting to. But I got to jump into music. I want you to tell me your favorite genres of music and
Hmm.
your favorite individuals and groups in each genre. So if you have hip
Wow.
hop and say like, man, this group and this individual, you know,
Okay.
country, this group, this individual, whatever. But I want you to like hit me with your favorites. Like if God said to you, Rick, you need to put together a track, and on your way up to heaven, I'm gonna play this track for you. Like who's on like who's on the tracks? Who's on that mixtape that God makes you?
Okay. All right.
Which
So,
which I'm gonna copyright that. Who's on the mixtape that God makes you? Like that,
God's mixtape.
I want to keep that. God's mixtape. Everybody's
Okay.
like Sir Mix-a-Lot, and you know everybody's like Big Butts in Bohemian Rhapsody, and I'm like, God will be like,
Oh man.
God's got you coming up, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna send that one back down.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, nah, you ain't make the cut, bro.
And
Forget
I
it.
was like, I like big, and God's like, no, not here.
Nah. That's like, that reminds me of man, what movie is that where, oh my gosh, it's the Seth Rogen movie with like the end of
I
the
know what you're talking
world.
about. Yeah, yeah. This is the end where the guys go
Yeah,
up to
and
heaven and
go.
they pull him back down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it's like the Backstreet Boys song and whatnot. Like, and he's going up and he's.
yeah. Because he's
uh,
literally, he's like, I'm going to heaven. None of y'all are
yeah.
coming with me. And
Uh,
as the light's taking him up, God decides not to take him
like,
because he's
nope.
being cocky and mean and hateful,
Yeah.
and he comes back down. So
That movie's classic, man. Yeah. So you mentioned country. I've actually gotten into country lately.
me too.
I think one of the things I appreciate about country is, I told you I love R&B music, and within country music, there's such a focus on like very hard hitting lyrics,
Yeah.
and that I do dig that. So, you know, somebody like Luke Combs, you know, I dig his music a lot. Thomas Rhett stuff I like a lot too. So, you know, definitely shout out a little country there. But, you know, if we go into hip hop, we mentioned Kanye already. For me, Kanye is like my guy, you know. So the Kanye, Jay-Z, Biggie, those are probably like the three, you know, when it comes to hip hop, you know. And I'll throw Diddy in there too, just because specifically his umbrella, you know, like
Okay.
you mentioned, coming up, you know, the Bad Boy family. I was a huge like Bad Boy stan growing up. Like, I mean, Diddy was my idol. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, shout outs to them for sure. We shift over to rock. My number one all time is the Foo Fighters.
Mhm.
Love the Foo Fighters. Big on the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well, and No Doubt. Excuse me. No Doubt also, man. Really like, so those are probably like my three favorites. Avenged Sevenfold, I'm a big fan of, you know,
Okay.
as well. So I kind of throw them in there. System of the Down, you know, a little heavy stuff too. You know, I dig. Um, I'm trying to think, man. We go to pop acts, you know. Justin Timberlake is like phenomenal. Got to see him live a couple years ago, and I was like, yo, like this dude is on point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you talk Justin is like one of the guys that I look at like all time amazing greats. Celine Dion is someone else, and my wife is gonna get a kick out of this. We always have the Celine Mariah battle, and I've always been Mariah all day. Mariah's been my number one, and I surprised my wife in Vegas and took her to see Celine because Celine is her favorite. Watching that woman sing live, my God, that is one of the greatest musical experiences I've ever had in my life. Is watching Celine Dion sing live. So she has now supplanted Mariah on my list. So
All right.
my wife will love to hear that. So Celine for sure is up there. John Legend. John Legend's another one talking about live. Like when you go and sit in an arena and you're listening to someone sing live and they sound better than a CD.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And for me, John Legend and Celine Dion are the two that I can say again. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to you sing live, and you sound better than any CD I could ever put on. That's a huge compliment. So he's another one. I'm a big again. I've told you R&B is my big thing. So going back to your Jodeci's, Boys to Men, love. But right now, like as far as it goes right now, some of my absolute favorites, I got to shout out, some folks that people don't know. And I mentioned as far as R&B, the ladies, in my opinion, are bringing it hard. And there's this French artist. Her name is Aya Nakamura. Amazing, really dope. She's got a really cool fusion of R&B and kind of Afro beats and whatnot. I got to plug my cousin Beverly Bordeaux. She's awesome too. She's a French artist, also amazing, talented. Georgia Smith is someone else. I think she's from the UK, if I'm not mistaken. She's really awesome. But my number one absolute favorite artist right now is Jessie Reyez. She's Colombian out of Toronto. I mean, I can't speak enough about how amazing she is. So for me, you could make the entire playlist with just her stuff because we talk about emotions when it comes to music, the
Yeah.
ups and downs, the lefts and right, happy, sad, dance, mellow, like you name it, the heartbreak, the new love, the passion, every single type of emotion she hits. She has a couple of collaborations with Eminem, and I think it's very key to mention just because Eminem is someone who, and again, shout out to Eminem too. I didn't mention him as far as hip hop. He's someone else who I think doesn't get enough flowers as well too. Still gets a lot of hate in the game just because of being a white guy. You know what I mean? But let's keep it 100, man. If you can rap, you can rap. I don't care what you look like.
Yeah.
But they got a couple of collaborations that are awesome just because the emotions that they both put out in their music, they mesh so well when they're on a track together. So she was on 2 tracks on his Kamikaze album, and then he was on a track on her debut album that came out last year. It's called um, Before Love Came to Kill Us. And again, anytime they get together, it's like fireworks, man. So my number one favorite artist right now, Jessie Reyez, for sure. So the entire playlist could be her stuff. She's got 2 EPs plus an actual album that came out. She's working on the next album. She's got a couple collabos with all types of random people. I know she's got the 2 lead singles on the new Suicide Squad movie soundtrack that's coming out. She's on both of those 2 lead singles. So she's really blowing up, and I love to see it. I can't wait for concerts to come back so I can see her live again. I got to meet her at a show that she did in Tampa. She is the coolest chick in the world. Like Jessie Reyez for sure, man. My number one right now.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna tell you that Boys to Men. I tried at 7, 8 years old. I worked to train my voice, and I trained it by making myself see what I could do that Wanye Morris would
Oh
do.
man.
So I would try to just like he'd take like the letter I and 15 different notes he'd go to.
Mhm.
I
In one breath.
Yeah, I ruined 3 tapes because I just played them so much that the reel just started to. So a Boys to Men 2.
But before you move on, for the kids listening, tapes are, we used to have these.
Tapes are these
They're
things
gonna be like
are about
apes.
this big, and they had actual tape in it.
Yep.
And when they got coiled, you would have to roll it like this. But if it got bent in any way, it was kind of like if a CD got scratched. If you don't know what a CD is, it's a flat thing that looks like a mirror on one side. And if you don't know any of these things, there's also an 8-track. And so those of you that thought that vinyl records would never come back, shout out to vinyl, because my vinyl collection is like, I'm going to tell you, my vinyl collection, I would put that, like, I think that I should have a robe and a cigar when I have my vinyl collection out there. Like, I really think I should.
And everything sounds better.
I got so excited that this thing just came.
I was about to say, you got so hype about vinyl that
I got so hype about vinyl that this beautiful sign came down for Cafe Cubal. But that's Corona times. But but the reality, but like, no, man. So yes, I mean, vinyl records, my vinyl record collection, I love. But I'm just gonna like throw all my favorites out. So Boys to Men, by far. I don't care what anybody says because everybody was a boy band fan at some point. O-Town, Backstreet Boys. Shout out to O-Town. Evan said he would only come see them perform if I was the lead singer. So shout out to O-Town.
But before you move on, I did miss one thing. We're talking about the boy bands, and of course, shout out to NSYNC. I mentioned Justin. Yo, shout out to my guy JC Chazé, man. Like, his album is still one of my all-time favorite albums ever. That dude was dope, and I wish he continued making music as a solo act. But go ahead.
No, I wish he did too. So I'm gonna say so Boys to Men, Backstreet Boys, O-Town, Journey, by far. I gotta shout out Natalie Cole. I gotta shout out my man Brian McKnight, because my mom and I knew him before. Like, we knew his music way before he got popular, way before Back at One. Who else I'm gonna say? I gotta say Michael Jackson, but I'm gonna pick an album that I don't think people know the truth of, and I wish that I had the vinyl here in the studio to show you right now. But I had the tape, and now I have the vinyl of the Circus and Just Michael's Eyes for the Dangerous.
Dangerous.
And the second track on Dangerous, side A on a tape, is Jam. And that song hypes me up by, I don't even know how to describe what Jam does for me, but like Jam, Dangerous, Keep It in the Closet. Like,
Keep It in the Closet is my favorite Michael Jackson. Keep It in the Closet and Remember the Time. Those are my two favorite Michael Jackson songs and videos.
And both on the Dangerous album. So I'm going to shout them out. I'm going to say a big fan of Carrie Underwood. I met her. I got to take a picture with her and talk with her. She was super cool and really nice. I actually had like a nice moment of a couple minutes with her. All these guys were like asking her out and being whatever. And I came up to her and she said, "It'll just be 1 minute." And I was like, okay. And she was like this signing. And I just like waited for her. And she was like, "So is it a signature or a picture? Like, how can I help you?" And I looked at her and she was looking down and I said, "Hey." And she looked up and looked me directly in the eye and she went, "Hey." I was like, "How are you?" And I treated her like a human. And it looked like she took her first deep breath of the night. Like, oh, this guy's not trying to get with me and say stupid stuff and whatever. And she was really, really nice. But like, we had this moment of like, "Hey, Carrie, I'm saying hi to you as like a man in a grocery store." And she treated me, that was so nice of an exchange that like, I felt like if for nothing else, I was going to give her that moment of like, "Hey, you're a human being. Thank you for being here. Yes, you're popular, but people need to know that you're Carrie and you got parents and you're from this hometown and you're like everybody else." So I'm going to say Carrie Underwood. I'm going to say my guys with that song Mayberry, about talking about cherry Coke, and that's Rascal Flatts. I'm going to have to say, Dan and Shay, Florida Georgia Line, Talk You Out of It by Florida Georgia Line. That song is special. And Who else can I say? So I'm trying to hit them all.
Rudy gonna be so hyped right now. I don't know if you know, but he's like getting into country hardcore. Like
Yeah.
we were at the beach like last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Like it was just me and him jamming out. He played his little country playlist. Me and him were just rocking out. Everybody else was just like, "What are y'all listening to?"
I can tell you this for a fact, and Rudy can second me on this. When I was in Rudy's car and he was playing his whatever, his playlist that he has on iTunes or whatever, his playlist is schizophrenic.
Mhm.
And it's exactly like the 10 identities that my music has.
Yeah.
When I sit in Rudy's car, he knows my brain. He'll play 10 songs and it's like classic rock, pop, country, hip hop,
Mhm.
R&B, and it's every single song that I would play.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the order that they're in is insanity. So I told Rudy, I was like, "You are my spirit animal of music. Like we are." So like I'll get in the car and go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know I needed that song today," or "I forgot
Yeah.
about that song." So
I
country,
think that's a good. I think that's the good thing. That's when you know you got a good playlist. Like I always say all the times, like if I put on one of my playlists,
yeah,
you're not gonna know. Like you can't judge me based off of my playlist. It's
oh yeah,
so
no,
broad and so you know various that you can't just say, okay, I know who this guy is, or what this guy is, or what he looks like,
yeah,
or where he's from. You're not gonna be able to judge me, and that's the beauty of a playlist. Like, be broad and be different. You know.
yeah. And there's beauty in that, and there's
Mhm.
so much good in it. So I think I said a lot of them. Classic. I mean, I love Phil Collins. I love, man. There's so many. I love Heart. I said Journey.
Yeah.
Big fan of Train. So some Maroon 5 in there. Oh man, I would say, gosh, there's so many. I'm Evanescence.
Oh wow, yes, one of the greatest voices ever.
Oh yeah, Bring Me to
Amy
Life
Lee.
and
Oh
My
my God.
Immortal, the two songs from
My Immortal, bro.
Daredevil.
Yo, every single time I hear My Immortal, look, just talking about it, and I'm getting chills. My Immortal is one of those songs that no matter where it's at, when it's on, I'm frozen and just like
Yeah,
Amy Lee's voice is absolutely amazing.
and I gotta say, my guy who I believe was on American Idol, loved his. He's in Christian music now. Danny Goki.
Mhm.
He's really good too. But Scotty McCreery in country, love Scotty McCreery. This is it. That's the wedding song.
Mhm.
There's so much good in there. Man, there's like Eric Clapton, and there's I feel so spoiled, but like I feel like if I was in a room and I could like work with anybody, I want to work with Phil Collins. I would have worked with Luther Vandross, like Peebo Bryson had a lot of great stuff.
Mm.
Like there's just
You're
and
dropping
John and
gems right now.
what'd you say?
You're dropping gems now.
But I gotta tell you, gotta tell you, I gotta agree with you on somebody that you said, man. This guy's sweet sound, his music would have been good at any time in the world. His beauty, his melody, just how butter the voice is, and that's John
Mhm.
Legend.
Absolutely.
It's John
Absolutely.
all day.
League of his own, man. Like he is.
Yeah.
Have you seen him live?
I have not.
Oh man, like anytime you have a chance, do it. I've seen him. I think I've seen him 3 times now. I mean, anytime he's in the area, I'm there. Like that dude is next up. The voice is just it's unmatched. It's unmatched.
Yeah. And so our final piece here with my guy Ric Etienne, myself, Dan Tortora, inside the Cafe Kubal studios. And when we talk about music, there's been a little earthquake in here. I've been shaking things around.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson's like, I don't think you said my name. I
Yeah,
was like,
right?
I
That's
said
what happened.
jam.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Prince is over here like,
Prince, yep. Prince is like, wait a minute.
Prince is like, what'd you just say? Like, I was just like, Prince is. I remember listening to my favorite Prince song ever is "Beautiful, Most Beautiful Girl in the World,"
Mm.
and that song, I was in a hospital parking lot. I was in the back seat with my parent, and my parents were in the front seat, and they played that song, "Most Beautiful Girl in the World," and I remember saying to my parents, "Who's the girl that sings with Prince in this song?" Because you hear Prince
See,
It's Prince.
Prince is like, you better say my name.
And so that's 3 times for Prince. That's 3 times for Prince. He's trying to be a king on this show. But so Prince, so you hear him in the song and you hear the baby, I just want to tell you. And you hear like this man's voice, and all of a sudden you hear, and I was like, who is that girl? And I remember my mom looking at my dad and my mom going, I don't think that. And my dad's like, is that a, and they're like, honey, I think that's the same person. I'm like, there's no way that those 2 voices are coming out of the same person. But I will call Evan and I will leave messages, and all I'll do is I'll just go, oh. Because there's nothing like Prince. There's nothing like Prince.
Nah.
So, final point here. I want to keep with this stuff. We're talking about love and beauty and happy things. And I want to go with this because this is my out of all my bucket lists that I've ever had. This bucket list is the only one that's almost completely done. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do it on purpose. So I got to ask you, favorite living and deceased, favorite comedians of all time. Ooh. And who have you seen?
Wow. So I haven't seen a whole lot, unfortunately. Now, the few that I have seen are my favorites. I got to see that remixed Kings of Comedy tour that they did a while back after Bernie passed away, God rest his soul, with DL, Cedric, Steve, and George Lopez.
Oh, okay. All right.
So again, I mentioned Bernie as well. For me, I would have loved to have been able to see Bernie live. Bernie stand-up is probably right there, number 1. Right behind him, I'm putting George Lopez. I think George Lopez is absolutely hilarious. Okay. Jamie Foxx stand-up, classic stuff, man. Like his I Might Need Security stand-up movie, one of my all-time favorites. Man, who else? I love Kevin Hart, man. I know a lot of people, it's 50-50, it's 0
I don't know
or
why
100.
Though.
It's so crazy. Why. I think it's hate more than anything. A lot of haters.
It's like there. Tim Tebow. It's just hate.
Yeah. Now again, I think he does a lot, and everything can't be classic. So I'll give people that. Yes, all of his stuff isn't classic, but it's all funny, and there's some really classic stuff in there. You know what I mean? So those off the top of my head are guys. Eddie Murphy, of course, Richard Pryor. But again, for me, top of the list is gonna be Bernie Mac and George Lopez. I think those 2 dudes, in my opinion, are some of the most absolute funniest stand-up comedians ever. And I'm gonna give you another sleeper throwback. Bill Bellamy, man. Okay. Bill Bellamy was great when it came to stand-up. So shout out to Bill Bellamy.
I'm gonna tell you my list of what I've seen. This is my bucket list that's almost done. This is who I've seen, and these are all favorites of mine. And I don't like ventriloquist anything because I don't like anything that looks like a person. It freaks me out. But Jeff Dunham, love Jeff Dunham. He got me past it with Peanut and all that. So, but these are my kings. And I've seen them all. Brian Regan, Jim Gaffigan, Charlie Murphy before he passed, and I got to meet him and talk to him. Nice. Joe Coy, George Lopez, Kevin Hart, and my man, my number 1, my fire, the man that just something about this dude and the way that he goes about his business, and he resurrected himself, and he had a fantastic show, and I could quote him on the daily, and I got to see him as a birthday gift years ago in Syracuse, I think in 2018, is none other than the man whose first name has 1 initial and next name is probably misspelled a lot. Dave Chappelle. So
yes, that's right. And shame on me for not mentioning him, because Chappelle is another one of those all-time greats as well.
Chappelle's Sticks and Stones that's Eddie Murphy, Bernie Mac, Richard Pryor. His comedy now is not politically correct. And I love that about him. Yeah. And there's just so many beautiful things about Dave Chappelle. And so on my list of like people I still want to see, the list is short, but Lewis Black, Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock.
Tracy's one of my favorites too. I forgot
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan.
My mom met Tracy. He came to the airport in Syracuse, and my mom, she said this guy walks in, and there's a guy behind him, no joke, playing a boombox of music in the airport, just following Tracy playing music. And my mom meets this guy and she's like, "Who are you?" And she said he was really nice and everything. He's going up the escalator to the terminal and the guy's behind him. And this is like a couple of years ago. And he's just playing music. That's all his job is. Like and I say all the time, like, I wish that there was a track, like during my life, I wish I could play songs at certain times. And like I could play like hype music. Like I said, when I do my first stand-up comedy special in Syracuse, in the Dome, and I sell that thing out, I'm telling you right now to 50,000 people, the song that you are going to hear me play is Put On. I Put On From My City.
Yeah.
That song hypes me up.
That's a good track.
And I know how I would walk up on stage too. Like the feeling of that song, I Put On From My City. There's something about it, but like to bring it back to music and to connect it to comedy, but there's so many great comedians. And like, I had this lady in Charlotte. She was my Uber driver. And I test out jokes with strangers just because I want to know what they think. So I'm in the back and she's from Africa, beautiful accent, nice lady. She's talking to me. And I always tell people I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm tinted because I'm Hispanic and Italian. And we may have Sudanese blood from my Italian family, like way, way back. So we're talking about all this stuff. And I'm telling her these jokes and whatnot. And she laughed at everything. But I told a joke about Camden, New Jersey, and she paused. So like, but I will say that of the jokes I told her, she's like, "You're funny." And she turned around and she goes, "You are like my caramel Kevin Hart." And I was like, "I'll take it."
I'll take that. That's a win. That's a win.
I was like, "I will take that." And that's what my mom said to me. She goes, "I love Kevin Hart." She goes, "He reminds me of you." So that's because it is like when he talks about being afraid, like when his daughter scared him and he left the house and everybody in it. That's me. If I watch The Conjuring and you scare me in my house, if I don't murder you, like I'm like my response.
I'm
like,
sleeping in the car.
And I'm not giving anything up with the movie Fatherhood, which is great. I'm just going to tell you this really quick. There's a part where a clown pops out and he punches a clown in the face. That would be like, I cannot go into scary like places when they jump out because that's the reality. Like, I want to know how many people at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights get punched in the face.
Yep. Yeah. I don't do clowns either. I swing on clowns.
Yeah. Like I don't do Child's Play, none of that. Like, I don't know why. I'm okay with Saw. I'm okay with The Walking Dead. But if you put me in Child's Play, Poltergeist, any of the Exorcism, I will never, and I won't. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, I knew the girls I was going to break up with based on the movies they made me watch. This one girl made me watch Child's Play.
This ain't gonna work.
No, she made me watch Child's Play 1 and 2. I fell asleep that night, and to this day, I can tell you the dream I had where Chucky killed a whole family in front of me and then talked to me about it. I dreamt that, so I can't watch. So she had me watch Child's Play. Same girl that had me watch The Grudge. Ridiculous. The other girl had me watch Dead Silence with the dummies. Another girl had me watch Paranormal Activity down in Florida and held me down while I watched like the person get picked up and pulled out the room and like, and I'm in my room at 10 o'clock at night with the lights like when I was living with Rudy and Evan, my lights were like spotlights, like a helicopter light. My lights were on bright 10 o'clock. I had Sports Center on and I was humming to myself. Like I was out of my element. But I tell you, any woman that makes a man watch a scary movie and forces him to, I'm going to be truthful. That ain't your wife. It'll never be your wife.
There's a little psychopath in there somewhere.
Yeah. There was one girl I never dated. I just knew her. And she was listening to the show one day. And I said, you know that someone's a psychopath when their favorite movie is Pet Sematary. She wrote me some messages after that show. And I was like, man, I'm not your boyfriend. I don't need to answer these questions. Like, you know, it's like if Pet Sematary is your not favorite horror movie, if Pet Sematary is your favorite movie, like you need to talk to Jesus. Like
Yeah,
you need to
yeah.
know.
There's a little something wrong in there.
Yeah. So I'm just going to be flat out with people. Like I get courage like 2 to 3 times a year to watch a scary movie.
Mhm.
So if you get me in that moment, take it and use it. But no, what normally happens is I turn that movie on, and within like the opening credits, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna watch a Kevin Hart movie.
Yeah, this ain't a good idea, man.
I was
Let's
like, you
move
know
on.
what? You know what? I think I should watch Think Like a Man. I'm gonna turn off Pet Cemetery. So, but that coming from Rick, myself, Dan Tortora, and Ric Etienne here. Rick, final concluding piece. We were going to talk fantasy football. We'll save that for another show.
Yeah, we're back. Let's run it back.
So we'll do that. But the last thing I want to do, because you got to get to something with the kids very quick. You've been an awesome sport. Rapid fire is what it's called. Puts me on the hot seat. You get to host the show. You get 3 questions to ask me. You can ask me anything in the world. Go ahead.
All right, anything in the world. Who's winning the Super Bowl this year?
I would say probably Tampa Bay.
Okay, all right. Let's
see.
So I've been having this conversation with the Hit List group today. Shout out to the Hit List crew. Coke or Pepsi?
I've been drinking it during the show, bro.
Oh, thank God! Thank God! You're a sane individual.
All day.
I appreciate you. Yeah,
all day.
Yo, these dudes they ganging up on me with this Pepsi nonsense. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Pepsi is Coca-Cola's little brother.
yeah. And not even like a cool little brother that anybody likes. He's like the annoying one that you want to get rid of.
No, like a little brother where nobody's paying attention to him and they fall off the slide and they got their knee all bloody and now everybody's got to go home because your brother's all bloodied up and because he needed attention. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Pepsi and the thing that I don't get about the state of New York is I love orange vanilla Coke Zero. Long Island has it. There you go. Long Island has orange vanilla Coke Zero, but Syracuse does not. So in order for me to get orange vanilla Coke Zero, I have to go to the island.
See, my niche Coke is cherry Coke.
Yeah, I got this cherry vanilla right there.
Give me a good cherry Coke all day, man. I'm just it's the best. Yeah.
Ice cold
Pepsi,
cherry.
Get out of here, Pepsi.
That's why I like that song Mayberry by Rascal Flatts. Because the chorus says, I want an ice cold cherry Coke. That's I mean, not an ice cold Pepsi. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants Pepsi.
Watch Pepsi down the road say that they want to pay to be a part of the show, and then somebody plays back this video.
That's different. All right, last one. I'm gonna put you on the spot, man. When we getting together again? It's been far too long, man.
Well, I didn't want to say this on the air, but I'm gonna say it on the air. Like, I'm coming down in August.
Hey, all right.
So
I like that.
I will see you in a few weeks.
All right, perfect. We'll make it happen, man, for sure.
That coming from Ric Etienne, myself, Dan Tortora, inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. Prince didn't do
it. Prince is happy. Hey, we gave Prince his flowers. He's good.
Prince did it 3 times.
Yeah. Prince wasn't playing around tonight.
No, if it's 4 times, I would have hit the ground, shut the lights off, and called it a day. So, yeah, Prince is like, I don't like Pepsi either.
Yeah, right.
Michael Jackson's really like, I don't like no Pepsi because Michael, I got to do my Michael Jackson. I can't do it the same. It's Chris, because I got it from when Chris Tucker was doing it. Where you have to get really soft. Chris, why are you dancing like that, Chris? Stop it, Chris. You have to kind of have a little bit of a lisp. What are you doing?
Yeah, the lisp is key. It's the soft and the lisp.
And I love it when he's like, Michael, you ain't gonna get that girl. He's like, I'm gonna get that girl, Chris.
I'm gonna get that girl.
And he's like, watch me. And any man who can walk into a room and be like, girl, you need to be my woman. And he can bring her home. I'm like, man, Michael.
That's it.
And the Little Richard with a woo, what I mean? Like the 3 of them
eyes.
in the room.
Nah, Little Richard's the eyes and the pitch, like
like if you had Chris and you had you and you had if you had all of that at the same table, I would want to eat dinner with Prince, Michael Jackson, and Little Richard.
Yeah, that's a cool table. That's a cool table right there.
So
you actually just gave me a good pushback in the chat with the Hit List crew. I'm gonna let them know. How can y'all like Pepsi? Pepsi tried to kill Michael, man. Come on.
Pepsi tried to burn the king of pop.
Legit tried to burn him down.
When I said king of pop, I looked because Prince was like,
yeah, it's like, hey now,
the Prince of pop. You know what you are. So with that being said, for Rick and myself, Dan, Cafe Kubal Studios, this has been a Wake Up Call special unlike any other on YouTube and Facebook. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Facebook.com/Live Now DT, Facebook.com/Wake Up Call DT, YouTube.com/Wake Up Call DT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com and MixLR.com/Wake Up Call DT. Rick, as always, thank you. And this conversation was amazing. So thank you for that.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for the invite, and I'm ready to be back whenever you need me, brother.
Awesome.